Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my humble home in Livingston, Montana. Okay, you know what I'm going to be doing for the next few minutes? I'm going to be telling you a lame story. It's storytelling time. So if you don't like my stories, I would suggest that you go do something more important than listen to me, run at the mouth. Okay, I should be able to get through this story pretty quick because it's not a very long-winded story. I thought it was kind of humorous when it happened. You folks probably think I'm sick in the head, but then I don't care. Alright, I was like 13, 14, 15 years old. You're going to have to forgive me. But I had a second cousin that had a ranch out in a place called Round Butte, Montana, very close to Ronan, Montana, okay? And we all called him Uncle Harry, even though he was my second cousin. He was my mom's dad's sister's son. So that would have made him my second cousin, And he was, of course, a lot older than me, a lot older. He looked like an uncle, okay? You dig what I'm saying? Well, anyway, he says, okay, boys, he rounded up a bunch of us Ronan Hanyakers and a bunch of relatives. He says, we're going to go get hay, which meant I got to spend the day bucking hay. And if any of you folks out there don't know what bucking bales is, well, you're really missing out on some good hard work. But anyway, I won't get into all that because I'll be here for forever and a day. Okay, Harry loaded up there was probably, I want to say 5, 6 of us boys, something like that, ranging everywhere from 10 to 16, 17 years old, like that. And he had a flatbed truck, you know what I mean? It didn't have a bed on it, it was just a flatbed and a buckboard that was, protecting the windshield, whatever they call them, They actually got a specific name, but I'm too dumb today to remember. But, headboard, that headboard right there. And we all jumped on this flatbed this flatbed, and we had to go down, I don't know, half a mile or so or whatever to cut into this field that we were going to hay, that we were going to pick these bales up at. Okay, you follow me? We're picking up bales of hay that weighed anywhere from 40 to 60 pounds, the smaller bales. All right, we get into the field, not very far, probably about 50 yards. We open up the gate, drive in the field, and there was this little creek that was running kind of down at the bottom of the field, if you will, and I'm riding in the back, and as a matter of fact, I'm hanging onto the headboard right there, and I'm kind of, I'm in a position where I can look around and talk to my Uncle Harry, which I, kind of did there for a little bit, little chit-chat and whatnot have you. But anyway, we come up on this creek, and I'm looking down there, and I'm looking at them tires, and I'm looking at everything, because the bridge that Harry had set up, it wasn't really a bridge. It was just a bunch of boards, like 2x6s and stuff, 2x8s that he threw across the creek. So, the irrigation, it was actually a little irrigation canal so that he could drive across this mess. Because that's what it was, a great big mess as far as I was concerned. Anyway, I'm looking down there, and he's driving along, and he slows way down, and he just kind of creeps across them boards, and boy, I could see this one board bending and cracking and snapping and making all kinds of noise and stuff like that, and I just knew that everything was basically unstable. I knew it right to my gut and beyond, if you know what I mean. Unstable, And I reached my head where I looked my head around, and I said, Harry, Uncle Harry, that little bridge that we went across there, it's about ready to cave in. You hearing me, Harry? And little Harry goes, oh, you worry too, he looks up at me like, oh, you worry too much there, Jim. He says, this summer, he says, I drove across them boards at least a dozen times, and they'll hold up, they'll be fine and all that. And I'm thinking in my mind, I don't think so. But anyway, I figure back in them days, you didn't argue with the old timers. You just stated what you had to state, but you didn't stand there arguing with them. If you would have got the ever-loving you-know-what, S-H-I-T kicked out of you. It's just that simple. That's the difference between what's going on now and what was going on back in the old days. So anyway, we go out in this field, we pick up a whole load. I'm talking about we filled that truck clear up to the top and beyond the headboard. I mean, just Harry put just as much hay as he possibly could, because we had to go drive back across that bridge in that little creek, out the gate, up the road, and back to where we were going to dump the hay off, And I remember we didn't get all the hay in that one load, We didn't have we didn't have enough room on that flatbed truck. So, we work our rear ends off and buck that hay and get it real high and everything. And all of us boys are sitting in different positions up on the haystack, on top of the truck, on top of the flatbed trailer. And so old Harry, he whips around, and there we are. We kind of go down this little grade, and we're headed right for that bridge I've been barking about, or boards. It wasn't even a bridge. It was just a bunch of old boards that he had thrown across. That he had across there, And I'm sure glad old Harry didn't take up bridge building, because he would have been an epic fail for sure, Anyway, he starts easing onto these boards and everything, sure as hell. I heard him cracking and snapping and popping and all this other crap. And we get to where the rear tires are coming onto those boards, and that's where the most weight's at, for doggone sure. And keep in mind, this boys, there's 5, 6 of us sitting around in different positions on the load of hay there, and we drive it, and only in this particular instance, I'm on the right side of the vehicle instead of the left side where Harry's at, and I'm looking down there because I'm just knowing things aren't exactly kosher, And sure enough, man, as soon as those rear tires on that right side, we went creeping across them boards, they gave in. They just broke right in two. 2x6s, 2x8s, you name it, wherever he had down there, because they were all rotten and wet and everything. And of course, what it did is it caused that trailer to tilt, that truck trailer about like this, an angle like this. I don't want to say 45-degree angle. It was probably more like 25 degrees and up. But it was absolutely enough to cause that whole entire load of hay to fall off. And I'm thinking to myself, this is a bunch of BS, because I knew it was more work, and I knew more than likely by redneck Uncle Harry would probably have us out there till midnight till we got that hay in, because that's the way it was back in them days, But the deal is, now some of you may not think this part's funny. I don't care what you think. Well, I do care, but, you can think whatever you want to, But when we started to go over, everybody started yelling and screaming and everything, and a couple of the guys were smart enough to actually bail off, But I was kind of sitting in a weird position, and I really couldn't bail off. I just had to kind of tumble off with the hay, you follow me. And my two stepbrothers, this is this is the part that I like the very best. I had two step brothers that was way up on top, and one of them I got along with real good, and the other one I didn't get along with, This is a true story. Okay, I don't know if you guys know what hay hooks are, but they're metal bars. They're about 3/8 of an inch in diameter, half an inch in diameter, metal bars. Sometimes they put wood on them, and they got a hook on the end of them, about like what I'm showing you in this camera. And what we used to do is use those, and they had a point on them, and those hay hooks were for grabbing those bales, stabbing in there like that, and picking them up and setting them down is what we used to call it, You hook one end, hook the other end of the bale, and set it up on the flatbed. That's what those doggone things were meant for, and that's all they were meant for. But we had a bunch of these hay hooks stuck up in the hay way up on top, and when I came off that truck, I kind of came off backwards, but there was a bunch of bales cushioning me and everything, and I had a perfect view of the whole a staircase worth, that's a wrong word, but bales falling off, and my stepbrother's falling off and everything like this, and how in an accident, things kind of go in slow motion. Well, that's the way it was with me. When that truck went over and the bales went over, I went over, but I safely lit on the ground, but I'm looking up and something hit one of them hay hooks. It was probably another bale or something, and I seen that hay hook go just like this, flipped way up in the air, probably like about 10, 15 feet, just twirling like this, and I'll be danged. I'm thinking to myself, man, I hope that piece of iron don't hit anybody. And that one stepbrother of mine that I didn't like very well, he was kind of laying on the ground over to the side of me or whatever have you, and that hay hook come right down and stuck him with the point of that hay hook right on top of the melon. You know what I'm talking about? Right on top of the golf ball. Right on top of that wooden head, that knot head, He started hollering and jumping around and, and all this other stuff. And really, it was a dull old thing, and it didn't cause him to have permanent brain damage or anything like this. Just put a really, kind of a nasty little mark right on top of his head and all of that. And never really even stuck in his wooden head, which I wish it would have. But I thought that was the funniest dang thing, and I was rolling around the ground laughing, and he got all mad, and then we got in a big fight. Well, not a real big fight, but just mostly a pushing contest and all that. But anyway, I walked around and the other side of the truck where old Harry is at, and I said, Uncle Harry, I tried to tell you. He goes, yeah, well, I'll be all right. We'll fill this hay up here, Oh, sure. Yeah, we buttoned up the day about 10 p.m., Ha, ha, ha. I don't know if you folks enjoyed that or not, but I can still see that in my mind, that hay hook going like this and coming down and bonking my stepbrother right on the melon, man. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's really all I've got to say today, except for the fact that some of you probably noticed I finally went and got my unruly haircut. I drove all the way over to Bozeman yesterday to get my hair cut. I'll just throw this in while I was at it, And I get in this place called Great Clips or whatever the hell it is, one of these next, take a number, take a seat, Finally, this gal sets me down, and she says, sir, she says, how can I help you today? What kind of a haircut would you like? I says, I want you. I said, tell you what there, Missy, this is how we're going to work this out. I want a haircut where I look like a used car salesman. That's just exactly what I told her, man. You know, I want to look like a used car salesman. I'm tired of the string bean hair and everything. And I said, because of this COVID steps that's going on, guess what you're also going to do for me? You're going to give me this haircut 6 feet away. And she looked at me like, you know, what's this guy? This guy's mad. He's smoking the wrong stuff. Now, I told her I was just all kidding and everything like that. You know, I always got to give people crap about, you know, I probably kid with people a little bit too much, but I don't care. Because that's one of the problems with this world that we live in. There's a lot of people that aren't having fun, and they're depressed and screwed up. I don't try to live my life like that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's all there is to it. Thank you very much for visiting me here in my home in Livingston, Montana. I want you to take care of yourselves, and what do I say? See you on down the trail, and adios, my friends. And where's the button so I can get gone? Goodbye. I don't think I got the button pushed. Button pushed.